Yes, 101.1 FM and AM 1160. You know, we haven't had a Meet the Doc segment for a while, but we got one now. We're going to meet a new doctor at the Indiana Regional Medical Center, and a fellow who's been around here for quite a few years as well. Let's greet them both. Dr. Jassie McGovern is with us, and Dr. Nihar Ghate is with us as well. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. So I teased it earlier, and I said, how do your feet feel this morning? There's probably a lot of people that have foot concerns. Feet hurt, don't they, Dr. McGovern?
They sure do. They're essential to your daily activities. When your feet hurt, you can't even do your job correctly.
Yeah. And there are all kinds of different components to a foot. Dr. Ghate, of course, we've known you around these parts for a lot of years, and we talk podiatry, we talk, toes, arches, practically anything on the foot, ankles, all of this. It's really a part of the real foundation for your getting up and moving about.
Right. You know, a lot of biomechanics go into walking, and a lot of people, when they have pain in their feet, it transposes to their knees, their hips, and so it's the root of all causes of pain most of the time. You know, for like you said, I've been here for years. I grew up here. I was born in Indiana, and over the last 8 years, we've built such a great practice and grew beyond my beliefs. And now we have another person in here that's going to help us take us to the next level. You know, we're going to start doing a lot of total joint replacements, and really, that's the next step, and that's where Dr. McGovern comes into play.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Jassie McGovern, where do you come from?
So I'm from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That's my home. Very cold, frozen tundra. I know that most listeners from around here think it's cold here, but gotta tell you, negative 20 degrees on top of wind chill. That's cold. That's cold to the bone. I was just back in February. That was freezing cold, and I was like, I'm not coming back.
You're coming to the warm climate.
I am.
Of
I
Indiana.
feel this is great. I love it. I love it.
It's pretty nice in Minnesota right now, though. Isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, the summer is you just wait though. You get 6 months of winter, and
Yeah.
then 6 months of road construction.
Yeah, well, I always. This sounds a lot like here. Educationally, though, and your professional career, I imagine, like most doctors, it's taken you a lot of different places.
That's correct. I did my undergrad at St. Cloud State in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and then I did my medical school down in Des Moines, Iowa, at Des Moines University, and then I did my residency at St. Luke's University Health Network over in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I kind of been all over, and then, of course, with my preceptorships during my fourth year, I was all over the place. I went to Detroit, Florida, Boston, Indiana, all over the place.
And you knew the guy sitting next to you a long time before you ever came here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's quite an interesting story. When I was in residency, I had a pharmaceutical rep or drug rep, not really a drug rep, but like a surgical rep. And when I met him, he was actually instrumental in helping me become who I am and the person I am, because not only was he a rep, but he was also became one of my best friends. And from there, we cultured that relationship into what it was today, where just doing new surgeries. I mean, I do a lot of custom implants with this particular person. And by that, I mean, we actually replace bones in the foot with cobalt chrome or titanium, stuff like that. But anyways, what ended up happening, I told him, I'm getting too busy. And it was to the point where I was seeing 100 patients a day. Which I can do. It's just I have a 3-year-old and a wife, and I'm having another baby next year. And my wife said to me, "When is enough enough?" And I said, "Never." And that didn't fly very well.
Really, that didn't go over very well at all.
It was always. I watched my dad work his tail off for 45 years, and I think that's something that really rubbed off on me. So what it turned into was, how can I not let go of the reins, but have somebody here who's going to help me grow or grow together. And my Brent, who was the guy that I know, introduced me Dr. McGovern, Jassie, who we just hit it off. I think
Yeah, we
our
really
first
did.
phone conversation, we talked for a couple hours, and from there, it was just we talked every week, and over the next 8-10 months, until she didn't, I don't even think you saw the place.
No,
We just kind of talked about what we wanted to do, and where we wanted to go. There's a lot that gets. I think there's a misnomer about podiatry, and it's podiatry, but it's also foot and ankle surgery. And this next step we're going to take is where she comes in into doing more joint replacements at the ankle, which is the obvious next step for us, and also grow our practice. Right now, we have a practice in Indiana. We are opening a new office in Richland, and we're opening a new office in Punxsutawney in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so to grow, you need help.
So you're still going to need those 100 people a day here, and then you're going to have.
Well, she's taking some of that
bunch
too.
there.
Yeah. I think I wanted to be able to not only bring in somebody that I could trust, but somebody who is well trained, and somebody that you can get along with. You know, it's tough to find all that in one person, and we've done a pretty good job here with her. So
Yeah, well, that's terrific news, and it's so good to have you here working in this community. I'm not assuming that there are foot problems around here or any different from foot problems everywhere else. So let's talk about the various types of things that people need to be concerned about with their feet. Obviously, you got pain. You say, okay, eventually I'm going to have to get this looked at. Doesn't have to wait that long, though, does it? Before you go see your podiatrist and find out what's going on.
Yeah, certainly not. As soon as you have first sign of pain, or you feel any lumps and bumps, or you just don't feel right, just come on in. Have us take a look. We'll take some X-rays. We'll just check you out and make sure, give you the good thumbs up, or or if we have any treatment for you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All kinds of different treatment options because there are all kinds of different ailments with the feet. Dr. Ghate was talking about joint replacement surgery, bone replacement surgery within a foot. It's a fascinating field, and probably a field, especially when you're talking about the ankle, that a lot of people can, let's say that they've been dealing with it, suffering from it from a lot of years, and it doesn't have to be. With the replacement surgery, if that's called for, they can probably get off on the right foot, if you will, or the left one.
That's correct. So for many years, the standard of practice, if you have ankle osteoarthritis or, just a lot of pain in the ankle, if it's always been just fusing the ankle. And, but we've been having joint replacement in the hip and the knee, and that's been going on for years, but nobody's really figured out how to really replace the ankle joint adequately, properly, with the right medical implants. Until in the last 10 years, the total ankle replacement has just kind of took off. We have tons of research and industry to provide new technology into total ankle replacement, and that's where my training comes along. And where I'm trained at is where we do a CT patient-specific total ankle replacement. That it's just specific to the patient. We get a CT scan. We make sure we get all the lumps and bumps correctly, and then we put a custom implant in. So it's a great opportunity.
Wow.
For Indiana.
Because ankles are so complex, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the deal with that is we hear a lot of talk about like using the Mako for knee replacements, right? The Mako is a robotic knee replacement, essentially. CT scans and all the cuts are done for you. That's what's going on with the ankle now. It's called the prophecy ankle, and it is a prophecy. I mean, it's literally we're taking an image, we're creating all the implants from that image, but more than that, you're creating the exact cuts, you're creating the exact alignment, and all of that goes into account. So the guesswork that used to be there is gone, which in turn gives it the stability. It used to be before that these joint replacements would only last 5, 10, 15 years. Now you're looking at decades because there's no malalignment. The anatomy is going to work with what we're doing, and the recovery is much faster, and patients are moving much quicker. So I think that is where all medicine is going to be going, all surgery at least.
Are bone structures the same for everybody in the foot?
Absolutely.
It's a loaded
not.
question.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So people, their bone structures, their foot, the way that it's made is different for everybody,
Absolutely.
which is why you need something that is custom to each of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to be a huge game changer, having this patient-specific custom total ankle implant, for the right patient. Because, prior to that, we were just using ankles and you just lose the motion. You just have a, completely solid piece of bone that you're not really ambulating, walking very well on. So with the custom implanted ankle replacement, you're going to have some motion back. You're going to be able to enjoy the activities that you want to do.
Now, we've been talking about the ankle, the toes at the other end of the foot.
Right, yeah. And again, we still do all that. We're full service podiatry and foot and ankle surgery, but routine care. We do a lot of diabetic foot care. We call that the bread and butter of podiatry, and I mean that in the best possible way. It's my mom's a diabetic, and I am always on her, and I treat everybody like she's my mom or they're my mom because I want my mom to not have any wounds. I want her to keep her feet and legs forever. And I just generally want her to be healthy. So I treat every patient like they're my mom. And, the diabetics need to be in the office because one small thing can lead to a loss of a toe or a foot or part of the foot. And that's what we want to avoid. We're in the business to preserve the limb, not to remove the limb,
Yeah. When we talk about podiatry, there are, as we said, many, many different concerns. The heel has its own story. The arches, the balls of the feet, the toes, where they connect onto the foot. All of these things are issues that you folks have to deal with. People might be sitting out there saying, it's just the way that it is. It hurts. My foot hurts. So I can live with that. I can walk in a different way. As you said, Nihar, that means that maybe you're also influencing another of the joints in your body.
Right.
Getting that foundation set and fixed and pain-free, for a lot of people, as you said, Jeff, it's a life changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think I think one of the hardest things to do is to be able to get patients on board with the treatment plan. Sometimes because, like you just said, that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't buy that. And in my practice and in our practice, we don't take that's the way it's supposed to be as an answer. That's not a good enough answer. To me, it's there should be a way to make somebody feel better. And if you can't do that, then you have somebody else look at it. That's why we have partners that we can rely on.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, we used to say, oh, well, we'll just let it, you have to deal with it. Not me personally, but that's what, when you couldn't figure it out. But now that's not acceptable. So if you are having pain and you're saying to yourself, oh, well, this is just the way it's supposed to be. Well, you should know that there are ways to make that pain better, whether it's in the heel, in the front of the foot, in the arch, that there are ways to make this better.
So somebody listening this morning is finally convinced, wow, it does sound like there's a solution to my pain. They want to hook up with you. What's the way that they do that?
Well, we do take walk-ins. So our office is at 119 Professional Center, Suite 307, right there on Wayne Avenue. We have somebody in the office Monday through Friday now. Before we didn't. Now with Dr. McGovern we do. So we do take walk-ins. If you want to come in, just come right through the door. Otherwise, you can call us at 724-349-3290. I also give my cell phone number out, but I'll wait to do that. I won't do that over the air.
Good plan. Good plan. You take walk-ins. What about limp-ins?
Crawl-ins are welcomed. Limp-ins are welcomed.
Whichever
we do have wheelchairs if you need them, but
Well, it sounds like there's a really good solution for folks who are dealing with foot pain, ankle pain. It doesn't have to be. Dr. Jassie McGovern, good to meet you.
You too.
Welcome to the community. Dr. Nihar Ghate, thanks so much for you and all you've done for all these years, too.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me back. I love coming here.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.